The first thing we're going to talk about is UFC Fight Night Henderson versus the guy he choked out. But before, George, we talk about Henderson and the guy he choked out, we're going to talk about some other crazy things that happened.
Brian Caraway won.
Brian Caraway won. Misha Tate's boyfriend. That's how a lot of people know.
And then shit went downhill quickly after that.
And then Pierre Hallman won. He won via submission.
And poke to the eye.
Rear naked choke. And then Rafael Dos Anjos, who actually, I'll stop here, looked really good. His stand-up game, you might have been snoring during that fight, but his stand-up game has improved.
Well, they were banging on Jason high because he struggled to make weight, and they figured his cardio came into it, and he was breathing kind of heavy, but Rafael Dos Anjos won that.
Dos Anjos.
Yeah, and that puts us on to
John Dodson.
Webster was on fire, shorty.
He was on fire in the octagon. He was on fire. His post-fight interview. He is charismatic. He is athletic. And he's probably the only one that will give Demetrius Johnson even a fight, because they said it earlier, and George and I kind of looked at each other and said, you know what, they might be onto something, because Demetrius Johnson is right now maybe the best pound-for-pound fighter out there, because everybody else seems to be struggling in their respective weight classes.
DJ keeps getting better and better and better, showing power, submissions. He's nasty.
You got eye boogers?
Yeah, it's called sleep in my eyes because it's fucking 1:15. It's 12:40. Yet we have to see the full production of these assholes walk out. Really? This is the one? Like, I don't give a shit if he moonwalked all the way to the ring. Just skip that bullshit.
Fights need to be at 9 o'clock.
Come on,
they really
man.
do, man. I mean, you can't, especially when the first part of the. You know what's funny? When the first part of the card really starts to lag, you fall asleep.
Lag.
You fall asleep. And then you fall asleep and then you miss the good fights like you did. We ain't gonna front.
No, I'm not. Because in the next fight, you know what part I saw of the Diego Sanchez fight? And I'm not even kidding. I saw the first round and then I saw him thanking Albuquerque and Jesus. That's it.
Oh, so you missed the part where he came in with the mask and he held up the place because it was robbery. Okay, guys. The Diego Sanchez Ross Pearson fight, okay? I don't have to get into it. If you saw the fight, it was the worst decision I've seen in a long time. The decision is so bad that George, right now, I'm looking at his computer, and this is not a lie. This is not a lie, okay?
You can go to our Facebook group and see it.
On the Facebook, because George took a snapshot of it. On Wikipedia, they have Diego Sanchez winning by robbery. Seriously, that's what they put on the fucking Wikipedia page.
That's when you know it's bad. Like,
by robbery.
And the thing, look, we already know what Dana White's going to say. Damn it, the fight goes to the judges. Look, even when the fight goes to the judges, and it's as lopsided as that fight was, look, Diego Sanchez got knocked down 2 times in the second round, so how could a judge possibly give him a 30-27?
That's what I don't know.
How is that possible?
How do you give a guy a 30-27? How do you give Diego Sanchez a 30-27 when he gets knocked down a total of 3 times in a fight? And you know what? He was inaccurate. He couldn't get takedowns.
Maybe the judge is dyslexic.
Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe the 30 was for Ross Pearson and the 27 was for Diego.
He just couldn't write that shit down right.
That's the only thing.
It's bad, man. It is. It's bad when it's been a problem for the last couple years in the UFC, and it's getting fucking worse. And I mean, like you said, Dana could sit there and bitch about it, but you got to get some fucking competent judges, man.
Well, Bobby Miller made a good point on Twitter, and he sat there and said, "When are we going to get former fighters? How close are we to former fighters being judges?"
Yeah.
And I still look. I haven't followed it. I know a long time ago we brought up the fact that judging an MMA fight and judging a boxing fight aren't the same thing, but they use the same judges. And boxing's been around a lot longer than MMA, so you know you're getting boxing judges instead of MMA judges, and they need to fix that shit because it's not the same sport.
They really do. In the main event, it was Benson Pootie Henderson going up against the guy who choked out. Now, we say that because neither one of us can pronounce his name, and if you guys have been watching the show long enough, you know that neither George or myself are professional at anything we do, except George said that you're professional at pleasuring yourself. What the fuck, you know? Benson Henderson did something that he hasn't done in a minute, and that is finish a fight. He struggled a couple times. I think this guy was pretty aggressive. He was moving forward. He took Benson Henderson down a few times during the course of the fight, but in the end, Henderson is crafty, dude. I mean, he hit him with an uppercut. He followed up with the right, and before that guy could even figure out what was going on, he had that choke in there deep, and it was over with. And the lightweight division's looking kind of crazy now. You saw Ross Pearson do what he's supposed to. No, he's 145 now. No, he went back up to lightweight. That's right. So you saw what he had to do. He's mixed it up. I don't know who's next for Benson Henderson.
Neither do I. And as much as I'd like to sit here and try to figure it out tonight and tonight,